Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video where we talk about math for grade 9. And in this video we're going to end the topic of linear functions by looking at an example where we're going to put everything that we talked about together, and let's dive in. So the question says, find the distance, midpoint, and equation of the coordinates minus 312 and 412. Sorry, that was minus 3, minus 12, and 412. So we're going to do this one part at a time. We'll do the distance first, then we're going to do the midpoint, and then we're going to end with getting the equation. But before I do any of that, I'm just going to indicate something for myself, and I recommend you doing this for any question like this, is that I'm going to say that minus 3, minus 12 are my x1, y1, and 4 and 12 are my x2 and y2. And the reason I'm writing this down is that we're going to be using formulas that have x1, y1, x2, y2 in them frequently, that I want a visual reminder of what my x1 is, what my y1 is, what x2 and y2 are. All right, now let's start with the distance. The distance formula for linear functions is, it's the square root of x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. And now, because I've written down what all these are for this question, I can easily just plug in the numbers. Now, something I see my students do frequently is that they want to jump quickly in the steps. They don't want to write as much. But I really recommend you to have patience and take your time writing down steps, because that helps you avoid a lot of small mistakes that could really change your final answer in a big way. In an exam, if you practice writing down your steps properly, you could be gaining a lot more marks in your exams than you would if you're just skipping steps. So take that from me by experience as a former student and a teacher. Okay, let's continue. All right, so I'm just plugging in numbers first. x2 is 4, so that's 4. Now, this part is a little tricky because this says minus x1, correct? Now, x1 itself is already a negative number, so I can't just skip that negative number. I have to include it by putting another bracket and putting minus 3 in that bracket. For now, okay, we're going to fix that in a little bit, but I'm just writing it this way first to remind myself that my x1 is already a negative number. Plus y2 is 12, and my y1 is also a negative number, so I'm going to do the same thing. Another small bracket where I write the negative number in. Okay, now the next step is to remove the little bracket inside. And what happens when there's a negative sign outside and then a negative sign inside the bracket, and we remove the bracket, they get multiplied, making a positive sign. So this is actually 4 plus 3 now, and then plus, and 12 minus 12 is 12 plus 12. So it's 12 plus 12, and I forgot the little square signs here. Yep. So you see, this is why we don't skip steps, because sometimes you're going to miss little things, and when you write your steps carefully that way, one by one, you can notice these little mistakes and catch them quickly. Okay, so now we're doing 7 squared. So 4 plus 3 is 7, plus 12 plus 12 is 24, so 24 squared. So you need a calculator for 24 squared, for example. Of course, it's normal not to know what 24 squared is off the top of your head. So on your calculator, it will tell you that 24 squared, well, first of all, 7 squared is 49. And I do hope that you know this, but if you don't, it's okay. You can still use your calculator. 7 squared is 49, plus, and 24 squared on the calculator tells us it's 576. When we add those on the calculator as well, it will give us 625. And the square root of 625 on our calculator is 25. All right, so that's our distance. The midpoint usually is a lot shorter to get. It takes less steps. So our midpoint, I'll change the color for this one. The midpoint formula is y2 minus y1 over, oh, apologies, that's the gradient formula. The midpoint formula is x2 plus x1 divided by 2, y2 plus y1 divided by 2. Okay, and now again, I will go back to my reference that I already wrote down when I started this question and just immediately plug in the numbers. So 4 plus, and this time I have a plus, but the number is negative, so the answer becomes just a negative number. So 4 minus 3. Plus and minus together make a minus. So 4 minus 3 over 2, and then 12 minus 12 over 2. Okay, so 4 minus 3 is 1, so that's 1 over 2. And now we have 12 minus 12 over 2. Now this could look a little weird, but don't worry, it is 0. 12 minus 12 is 0 over 2. Now, what is 0 divided by anything? It's 0. So our midpoint is, our x is half, and our y is 0. Okay? All right. Now let's get to the equation. The general formula of a straight line, if you remember, it's y equals mx plus c. Okay? So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get the gradient, the m. And the formula to get the gradient is m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay, again, I'll go back to my reference, plug in the numbers. 12, and now I can skip one step ahead because I've already done it in a previous part. 12 minus minus 12 is 12 plus 12, divided by 4 minus minus 3 is plus 3. So that's 24 over 7. Okay, I don't need to change anything here. I'll just keep it that way, because if I write it as a number with decimal places, I'll have to round up and then I'll be less accurate. So I'll keep it as a fraction because this is the most accurate way to show it. Now, the more tricky part about this is getting the rest of the equation, because now we have m, but we don't have c, the y-intercept. But the way to get it is actually simpler than you think. I'll just use one of my coordinates as my x and y. Okay, so all I need to do is plug in a value for y, plug in a value for x. I already just got my m, and then all I need to do is solve it to get c. So let's look at what this really means on paper. So let's use our second coordinate, 4, 12. Our y is 12, correct? So 12 equals, I'll plug in the m, 24 over 7 multiplied by x, and x here is 4, plus c. Now the next step is, I'll just open this bracket here, 24 multiplied by 4. So 24 over 7 multiplied by 4 is actually doing it on the calculator. So all I need to do is type in 24 multiplied by 4. It gives me 96 over 7 plus c. Okay. Now all I need to do is make the c the subject of this equation and solve it. So I'll just have to, I'll just minus 96 over 7 from both sides. That's it. That's all I need to do, and then I'll get c. So if I do that on a calculator, 12 minus 96 over 7, I get minus 12 over 7. And I just got c. So I have m and I have c. And that's really all I need. So I go back to the general formula, and all I do is plug in m and c. I don't plug in y and x anymore. So my equation for this line is y equals 24 over 7x minus 12 over 7. And there you go, guys. Take your time with this video. Pause it when you want, when you need. Try to do more questions of this sort. So there's a very easy way to practice this. Just write any two coordinates down, any two random coordinates, and you've made a question all on your own that you can solve. Okay, the numbers might look a little weird, but the weirder, the better the practice is for you. Okay, I hope this video was useful, and I'll see you in the next one.